with us today Stepane and Paola Gabard from Bordeaux.
Awesome.
So bonjour Paola et Stephane.
Bonjour Michael.
Merci pour prendre le temps pour nous. Nous sommes avec Cisco Larson, qui est de Memphis, dans l'État de Tennessee.
D'accord.
Okay, he's from the state of Tennessee. Is a new client of ours, a nouveau client pour nous. Il a acheté une palette de Chateau Gabare Blanc pour une promotion. So we were starting to travel again. You know, and Zach met Cisco in Memphis, his first trip, his first time there, and I guess he liked your wine.
Yeah, we really did, yes.
So, Stephane and Paola, it's un peu anglais, un peu, a little English, a little French.
Okay. A little.
Okay. Okay, très bien.
Je comprends un peu et je parle un petit peu, mais.
Okay, Cisco, could you explain maybe a bit about your store and the promotion that you're doing? Maybe that would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. Thank you so much, Stephane and Paola. I'm so thankful to have y'all on a little interview. So what we're doing is we're featuring your Bordeaux Blanc in our wine club, and we have our wine club has over 600 members at this point. So we needed a lot of your wine. So we're very thankful that we were able to get that to Memphis. Thanks to Michael and Zach. And what we're kind of doing is sitting down and talking about you guys and the winery and the wine itself. And this video will be shown to our wine club members, and so they can kind of put a couple of faces, yours, to the bottle of wine that they're drinking in their house.
So I hope nobody in the club actually speaks French. They'll find out how bad my French is, but it'd be embarrassing. But that's, vous pouvez présenter le domaine, le château, un peu?
Bien sûr, merci. Nous sommes aussi très contents de connaître nos clients parce que c'est vrai que de mettre un visage là où va notre vin, c'est toujours très, très agréable. La présentation.
Right. Very happy to meet you and then to you know, see you sort of in person.
La présentation du vignoble, c'est une petite propriété familiale. Hein.
It's a small family estate, and they Stephane and his wife Paola, they do all the work and they do all the business aspect too.
Amazing.
Voilà. Donc,
so it's 40 hectares of vines. Stephane, quelle portion de blanc en rouge?
15% de blanc et 85% en rouge.
15% in white. So
1800 hectolitres de rouge, 200 à 300 hectolitres de rosé.
Yeah, he also makes some rosé that's is quite outstanding. In fact,
very cool. I'd love to give it a try.
Yeah, we had a fabulous year with it this year. Tremendous. I don't know why, because in the realm of rosé, Bordeaux rosé is kind of the weak link, the weak sister, and we had a tremendous year with it. So interesting.
Voilà, donc,
le château, c'est dans la famille depuis longtemps?
La propriété existe depuis 1791.
1600?
1700.
Okay, it's a property from the 1700s.
Okay.
Mais toujours dans la même famille? Or?
Toujours dans la même famille, oui.
It's in his family since the 1700s. The property.
Okay.
Why?
And you've been making wine there for how long?
Nous, on est propriétaire depuis, ça fait 20 ans qu'on exploite avec Paola, mes parents.
Okay.
Et avant mes parents, mes grands-parents et mes arrière-grands-parents.
And before him, the parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, on and on. So he took control for about 20 years ago.
Did you learn from your father, Stephane?
Les deux, je suis né sur un tracteur et sur une barrique.
He said he was born on a tractor. So he said he learned both at school and from his father. But, okay, so he did his biology degree and then a program in viticulture. So what was your first, was 20 years, il y a 20 ans, c'était le premier millésime?
Notre premier millésime, c'était 1999, juste avant le changement de millénaire.
So 99. Okay,
C'est ça.
99. Okay, 99 is his first that he was completely in charge.
Et
Okay.
Paola est venue me rejoindre sur l'exploitation. Paola a une formation, elle est comptable de formation. Et elle est venue me
Okay.
rejoindre en 2003.
Okay, so Paula, his wife Paula, she does all the administration, the internal work, the accounting, tous les choses importantes, the important stuff.
For sure.
Without that, there's no company. There's no same for me. My wife does all the important stuff. I do this stuff. This is easy, so no problem. So Paula, vous êtes d'une famille en vin ou
Pas du tout. Mes
Pas du
parents
tout.
travaillaient dans les champignons.
Ah, her
Voilà.
family
Rien à
raised
voir.
mushrooms.
Voilà. Et
That's
j'ai
great.
découvert le métier avec Stéphane et c'est un plaisir de découvrir le métier du vin.
Oui. Mais vous êtes de la même région
Oui,
en
tout
Bordeaux?
à fait. Juste un petit village à côté, mais je suis d'ici aussi.
Pas loin, pas loin.
Originaire du
So
Portugal.
the chateau is in the right bank. So many of the petits chateaux are in the Entre-deux-Mers. This is in the right bank. Stephane, the château, c'est pas loin de Fronsac, Saint-Emilion.
C'est ça. Nous sommes sur le canton de Fronsac, dans le secteur de Fronsac. On est limitrophe de l'appellation Fronsac et on est à 5-6 km de la ville de Fronsac.
Oui, it's 5 or 6 kilometers from Fronsac. Oui. Et le terroir, votre terroir, c'est quoi? C'est sur la propriété que vous avez au château.
Alors, nous, le terroir, on a deux grands types de terroirs. On a un terroir sur certaines parcelles de plateau avec des graveleux.
Okay, so he's got basically two large sections of terroir. So one is a gravelly part on a plateau. Because that part of, I don't know if you're familiar with that part is Bordeaux is hilly when you get into the right bank. So he's got a part that's flat on a plateau, that's a gravelly soil. Okay.
Et après, on a une petite croupe argilo-calcaire, un petit peu d'argilo-calcaire. Et après, c'est plutôt limoneux graveleux.
Okay, some clay limestone parcels, and then and basically some alluvial soil as well.
So you're in the commune of Galgon?
Galgon, dans le canton de Fronsac.
Right.
On est à 40 km de Bordeaux.
Okay.
40 kilometers from Bordeaux, and this is just very, very close to Fronsac. Yeah.
On est surtout à 15 km de Saint-Emilion.
And 15 kilometers from Saint-Emilion. Yeah, it's very, very close. Sauvignon Semillon. Oui. Et le pourcentage cette année, c'est
à peu près, c'est 5%, 7% de sémillon et tout le reste en sauvignon. C'est ça, 100% en cuve.
Yeah, completely made in tank. There's no oak, no influence. So that's for obviously for the freshness and keeping it lively. Ever thought about doing a screw cap for the white?
On y a pensé, mais on a beaucoup en France. La capsule à vis est pas beaucoup acceptée.
Oui, it works well here. Yeah. You were saying it's not well accepted in France. Oui.
Et ensuite, on n'a pas beaucoup de prestataires, donc de machines qui viennent sur la propriété, qui peuvent installer les capsules à vis. Il faut des gros volumes.
Ah, okay. It's quite often done by mobile bottlers who come to the property, and so they operate in a gigantic volume.
For your winery, do you have that facility on hand? Or is that there permanently, or they just come a few times a year to bottle everything and enclosure and corking?
Yeah. For his cork finished wines, he does the bottling there, and it's all his machine. And the local landmark in the 12th century, there was a church built by the Knights Templar, the former Crusaders, because they're and the ruins are there today, the old walls and everything, but it was a historical landmark. It was on the pilgrimage route.
I saw that when I was researching a little bit. I saw the ruins of it. It's very cool.
Yeah. The name of the chateau is Chateau La Croix de Cagnac. C'est un peu difficile pour nous à prononcer. It's a little hard for us to say. And so the Stephane and Paola had the ability, the legal ability to do a second label for us, which is the Chateau Gabare. And we find it much easier, c'est plus facile pour the langue anglais pour prononcer. Much easier for us to pronounce, and the sales have gone up accordingly.
And the
And I think
Gabarre?
a Gabarre, c'est un bateau, c'est vrai?
C'était un bateau qui transportait le vin sur le fleuve, la Gironde.
Ouais.
C'était des bateaux à fond plat pour transporter les barriques jusqu'au port de Bordeaux.
Yeah, so a Gabarre was a flat bottom boat that they used to transport the wine to Bordeaux itself for transport, for export and transport and so forth. Not exactly a barge, but along those lines. So donc c'est un peu comme votre nom de famille, Gabard.
Voilà, c'est le petit clin d'œil parce que ça ressemble à notre nom de famille.
It's kind of a pun, I guess.
Que vous pouvez proposer. On a un site internet à Vignoble Gabare, au château La Croix de Quénac, et dessus il y a plein de photos. S'il veut voir des photos de l'église, des Templiers, tout ça, il y a plein de photos dessus.
He said if you go to the website Chateau La Gabard or La Croix de Quénac, there's a lot of photos of the church and et les vignes aussi,
et les vignes aussi.
Yeah, the property, the vines, the ruins of the church that's nearby, and so forth. So.
Et la photo de Paola et la mienne.
Stephane and Paola, where are you right now? Are you at the winery, or are you at home? Is that all the same place?
At the same place.
Okay.
Yeah, they're one in the same. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Oui.
Yeah, it's a nice house, and it's attached, and the winery is attached, and then in the back are the tanks and the chai, the tanks and the aging room. Everything in Bordeaux or most everything is above ground. So instead of a cave, that they call it a chai, which is basically a garage, if you will, or a building above ground, because you have a high water table. So you can't always dig underground. So, and Stephane, vous faites tout le travail, hein? Vous travaillez dans les vignes, au chai avec les vins.
Voilà, moi je m'occupe particulièrement des vignes et de la vinification, de la production. Voilà, et Paola s'occupe un petit peu plus du commerce, des ventes et de la partie administrative.
Okay, yeah, I said his job is the work in the vineyard and then the vinification. And I said, Paula's all the administration, all the.
Do Phil is your daughters?
The fils, Sophie, vous avez des enfants?
Oui, nous avons des enfants, mais pour le moment, ils ne pensent pas reprendre la propriété.
Ils sont jeunes.
They're young. C'est garçon.
Deux garçons.
He's got two boys. De quel âge?
17 and 15.
Oh, ils sont prêts pour travailler.
Oui, ils ont déjà commencé à travailler dans les vignes.
15 and 17, two boys, oui. Ils sont comment, au lycée ou
oui, lycée.
Oui. Ils s'intéressent à travailler en vin ou?
Ils s'intéressent un petit peu au travail de la vigne, mais pour l'instant, ils trouvent ça difficile. Ils trouvent qu'on travaille beaucoup.
he said his son is interested in working in wine, but they find the work a little bit too hard right now. Maybe later. Yeah.
So they weren't born on the tractor.
Yeah, right.
Pas tout à fait.
a good point. Wait, no, it's a tough vintage year so far. They had a cold and damp spring, and they had the frost.
Oui.
Yeah, the 2020s. It's a very, very good vintage.
Et oui, on a eu on a des commentaires, on a des dégustations. Alors, c'est vrai que c'est Paola qui s'en occupe un petit peu plus. Là, elle répond au téléphone.
He likes 20 a lot. You know, it's a richness, roundness, good aromas, good fruit. À mon avis, in my opinion, I find the 20s have a little more freshness than 19. They're both very ripe. Les deux millésimes 19 et 20 sont très mûrs.
Et est-ce que c'est la tendance un petit peu, nous, c'est la tendance du marché de faire des… Ah, bonjour le chat.
C'est Willy.
Ah. Hello Willy.
C'est mon partenaire, c'est mon ami. Willy, c'est le shot the COVID. He followed me home one night. I was out for a long walk, and it was cold. It was below freezing out, and he was sitting in the park crying. And he followed me home, and so we adopted him during the COVID thing. So
that's great.
Est-ce que c'est plutôt mieux que le vin, le blanc soit plus frais? Est-ce que vous préférez, ou vous préfériez le 19?
Oh, he asked me what I like better, if I like the 19 or the 20. I love. It's interesting because, to be quite honest, we've missed a year of tasting because of the COVID. You know, we couldn't travel. The wines that I've had in 2020, I have really liked a little more lively. I've noticed this in the first 20s that we're getting now.
That's awesome. So
the wines are here. They're here waiting for you. They're already so we got them. There's no nervousness about that. So
that is easily the most relieving thing or best thing I've heard this entire day is knowing that the wine is here stateside.
Both of them. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So Stephane, what Michael was talking about, the freshness of the 2020 wines versus 2019. What could have contributed to that in Bordeaux as far as the weather or stuff?
It's a good question. First, we have to see if he agrees. If he agrees with me.
Le millésime 20 est plus frais en général, même sur les rouges. Plus d'acidité.
Yeah. And Cisco, il posait la question pourquoi?
Parce que
quelle était la différence?
Moins chaud. Il a fait moins chaud et donc les degrés alcooliques un petit peu plus bas et un petit peu plus d'acidité.
Okay, he said basically it was not quite as warm, not quite as hot a year, so the wines they had slightly less alcohol, and that allowed the wines to have a little higher acidity, a little more freshness. If we had 2 heat waves in 19, I was there for the first one. It was c'était incroyable. I mean, I was j'étais à Saint-Tropez for the first canicule, for the premier canicule, et c'était pas possible, c'est impossible à rester là. Mais Avignon, it was 111 degrees in Avignon. Oui. Et en France, on n'a pas c'est pas climatisé à la maison ou au bureau comme ça. C'est très peu, very little air conditioning in France. And c'était beaucoup mieux dans les caves. C'était mieux à visiter les vignerons. Much better to visit the wineries and keep cool. But we actually left early to we got it up north to find a hotel that had, I was staying in an apartment, to find a hotel that had air conditioning that we knew, and then made our way back to Paris. So big difference. So warmer, hotter year, and it gave of course, riper grapes, slightly more alcohol, and a little bit less freshness. So yeah, and he said the same for the red as well. We're still selling the 18 in red. As red as Le Rouge, c'est Le Rouge that brought me to the Chateau to begin with. After we visited the Chateau and met Stephane and Paola, we discovered the white, and I happen to like white Bordeaux a lot. Je suis très amateur de Bordeaux Blanc. Nous avons découvert le Blanc. Après, nous avons fait la connaissance, and it was a nice addition to our portfolio. And nous travaillons en direct avec Stephane. C'est pas d'argent, pas de négociant, no negotiant or agent in between or anything like that. So it's it's nice to have those kind of relationships. It's not exactly easy in Bordeaux because so many properties sell through the négociant system.
Stephane, had your wines been in the United States before you got with Michael?
Non, très peu. Un tout petit peu. On vendait des fois avec la maison Cordier.
He was working a little bit with the négociant Cordier.
Okay.
And they sold a little bit in the States, but not too much. And
so these are basically brand new to the American market.
Pretty new. I don't know, Zach, how long have we had Gabarre?
3 years, maybe.
5-6 millésimes, je pense.
Ouais, 6, je dirais 6 ou 7.
Yeah, 5 or 6 vintages with Chateau Gabard, and I sold some Chateau Cognac before that.
So for a family that's been making wine since the 1800s, that's pretty recently.
Brand new.
Yeah, exactly.
Avant, tout était vendu en vrac.
Yeah, see, earlier, it's very typical. They sold in bulk. It's this Chateau or estate bottling. It's pretty new.
C'est plutôt nouvelle. Et puis l'exploitation était polyculture, peu de vignes.
Ah, okay.
Mais aussi de l'élevage des vaches.
That it was a polyculture, so they grew more than just grapes. They grew other crops, other things, and then as it became maybe more of a business, it became the monoculture of just producing vines.
Le premier millésime, c'était 1987.
Wow. So 87 was his first year they bought it. Une portion de la production. But,
toute petite,
yeah, okay.
Voilà.
A little bit, yeah, not the whole thing. It's an interesting, the growers, it's good to have a relationship with the négociants because it's, négociants kind of have a bad name a little bit, but it gives them cash flow. So a smart producer will always, not always, but they much prefer to sell in bottle. They make more money, but having a relationship with the négociant can help because it does give them a little bit of cash flow, and it also can move some production. Maybe they don't want to put into their own wine. C'est beaucoup,
Exactement.
beaucoup de préférence. Oui, assez nouveau. Hein? It's pretty new, pretty recent. The production en bouteille.
Oui, assez nouveau.
87.
Alors 87, c'était mes parents qui avaient commencé un tout petit peu, et ça s'est surtout développé depuis 2003, lorsque Paola est arrivée, où on a voulu essayer d'augmenter la production de bouteilles pour essayer d'améliorer la qualité.
They really increased it after Paola arrived in 83. Where did you two meet? Where did you meet? Où vous avez fait la connaissance de Paola? En quel?
À l'école.
Comment?
À l'école.
À l'école. OK.
Oui.
OK.
On habite à 4 km l'un de l'autre. On habitait très près.
Ouais.
Et mon meilleur ami, c'était son frère.
Ah, okay. He said they live, they grew up just a few kilometers away, and she was the sister of a very good friend, but they met at school though. So
that's great.
Good.
And Stephane, you do the farming as well as the winemaking, or do you have separate? Do you have people that help with that too?
On a une équipe.
Combien de travailleurs?
Sur l'exploitation, il y a 7 personnes. 7.
He's got seven people qui travaillent surtout dans les vignes. Hein?
Surtout dans les vignes.
Yeah.
Normalement, il y a une personne qui aide Paola au bureau aussi.
Ah, okay. They have one assistant for Paola in the office, and then they have the other people, the 6 that work essentially in the vineyards to do that. Right? And vous travaillez là aussi.
Oui.
Well, yeah, he works in the vineyards too. So, yeah, it's a real working farm, if you will. It's not chateau. It's a house. It's a house on the property. So, right.
And you practice sustainable farming, right?
Right. Quelle technique de viticulture? C'est lutte raisonnée ou vous n'êtes pas bio?
On n'est pas bio. On est en lutte raisonnée. On a maintenant une certification HVE, haute valeur environnementale.
Okay.
C'est un label en France sur la culture raisonnée.
Ouais. He's not organic. It's very hard to be organic in Bordeaux. It's a very damp climate, and we're seeing more and more, but not too much. But he's what the French call lutte raisonnée, which we would translate as sustainable. Lutte raisonnée means technically a literal translation would be a reasoned struggle. Okay. So in other words, what they say is you look at the land, or you look at the issue, the problem, and you think about it, and you find the solutions to be basically the least interventionist. So
très peu, on travaille les sols. On laisse de l'herbe et on travaille les sols.
So they really he said he uses a tiny bit of chemical treatment or weed killers, but essentially they work the ground, they work the earth, and turn it over. And le buis bordelais, bien sûr, does the copper sulfate, which is organic and is allowed under organic conditions, and that to spray against the mildew and other things. So the French government has a ranking, and they call it of high environmental value, HVE. And there's like, I think 3 levels of it, and that's for the totality of the operation. So it's not just what you do in the vineyard, but it's say the travail entier pour le HVE. So it's how you dispose of your wastewater. It's how you work in the winery. So it's how friendly you are to the environment for the whole, and it's hard to get. C'est difficile, hein, pour prendre ça.
C'est l'ensemble.
Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, so it's for everything. So it's not just the work in the vineyard, but it's how they work in the cellar and the chai and the disposal and the whole thing. And je pense qu'ils sont des niveaux de certification. C'est niveau 1, 2, 3, je pense.
C'est ça, il y a 3 niveaux. Il existe 3 niveaux, le 1, le 2, le 3, et nous sommes le 3, le plus haut.
Ouais, he's got the highest level, 3rd level. People come and they inspect, and they're very, very strict about it. So it's something that's not c'est pas bien connu ici, Stephane. It's not well known here in the States, but sometimes you see it. They'll put a sticker on the side of the bottle, and it says the HVE on there. So basically, it's a high level of sustainable farming, I guess. And it's an interesting debate. I've talked to growers who that follow this, they're called the lutte raisonnée, and they maintain that they have a lighter carbon footprint in the vineyard, because the organic guys are out there, they say, depending on the year, 2, 3, 4, 5 times more than they are. So they're out there, with the pollution and the air pollution and the gasoline and the exhaust and so forth. If you have an attack of mildew, let's say you can maybe spray very precisely. Not like the airplane with a crop duster, but on peut travailler très précisément avec les produits chimiques. Ouais.
C'est ça. Et à Bordeaux, on est en façade océanique, on est proche de l'Atlantique, et on a beaucoup de mildiou.
Yeah, he said because of the climate, the Atlantic being so close, they have a lot of mildew. It's a big problem. I think there's a tremendous consciousness with the estate owners that they're going to pass this land down to their kids and grandkids, and they know they have to protect it, and they want to protect it.
Exactement.
Pour travailler dans un mode sain.
Effectivement, le principe, c'est de protéger les personnes qui travaillent dans les vignes, de nous protéger à nous, de protéger les voisins, les habitants autour, et aussi de laisser la terre pour que nos enfants puissent la cultiver eux-mêmes.
Oui. He said also to protect the people that work in the vineyards.
Yeah.
Along with the soil. But you think about it though, if you have a damp year, like if you're organic, it's not systemic. So if you do a spray, if you do the copper sulfate and it rains, you have to go out and do it again. And so if you have a damp year, this is what I said. This is what some guys have told me. So they said that they'll be out there 4 or 5 times more frequently. And the copper is a heavy metal. It's toxic. They try to use as little as possible, but it still is a toxic element for the soil. So it's an interesting debate.
You said you're close to the Atlantic Ocean. Speaking of that, what would you pair with this wine, with the Bordeaux Blanc? What type of food would you?
On aime bien, moi j'aime bien le boire à l'apéritif.
Okay, he likes it as aperitif.
Les fruits de mer, tout ce qui est huîtres, fruits de mer. Et j'adore le boire sur le fromage aussi.
Okay, he likes it with cheese. If the fruit de mer, which is the shrimp and oysters and clams and then that sort of thing. Bordeaux is it's great. Are you an oyster fan, Cisco? Or
yeah,
it's great. It's great oyster country. It's great.
Yeah.
Les huîtres sont une spécialité de Bordeaux, de la région, je pense.
C'est ça.
You have really great oysters from the Bay of Arcachon, about an hour south of Bordeaux, and then an hour north at La Rochelle. Fantastic oysters. Les huîtres de La Rochelle sont magnifiques. Yeah, they're really. So there's good oyster bars in Bordeaux. For sure, les bars à huîtres à Bordeaux sont.
Il faut que Cisco vienne nous voir pour manger des huîtres avec notre blanc.
Bien sûr. He says you need to come to Bordeaux and see for yourself.
Okay, I'm coming. Don't worry, I'll be there.
Yeah. And I really have to say, a bottle of Bordeaux Blanc and some oysters is really it's a treat. I don't think in other words, I don't think it's meant for like the Grand Vin, for a great wine that's it's oaked and going to age 10 years and all that. I think just with some good oysters and a good crisp bottle of Bordeaux Blanc, that's a real treat. So
sounds great to me right now.
Yeah, definitely. Have you tried the red, the Stéphane's Rouge?
I haven't gotten a chance to try the red, but I'm really excited to try the red and the rosé.
Yeah, it's his main production, and obviously, and that's wonderful. And les millésimes récents sont très très bons. Hein? 2015, 2016, 2018, 2019, 2020. I mean, really, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. It's been terrific. Le seul problème, moins de production. The only problem is less production.
C'est ça.
We've had really great quality, though.
On a une belle succession de millésimes, de très belles choses, mais des productions plutôt faibles.
Right. Yeah, he said a nice succession of top vintages, but weaker production. So, c'est la vie. That happens. The Vin Rouge, c'est Bordeaux supérieur.
Principalement 3 cépages, le Merlot, le Cabernet Franc et le Cabernet Sauvignon. Pour la petite histoire, cette année, l'année dernière, nous avons planté un nouveau cépage, le Petit Verdot.
Okay. Last year they planted Petit Verdot. Okay.
Very cool.
Very good.
That's
Voilà.
awesome.
Mais sur le 2018, donc on était sur une année plutôt une belle année, comme vous l'avez dit, avec une belle période estivale et surtout une arrière-saison très belle.
Right. I said that 18 was very good summer season, and then excellent fall. That's really it's really becoming, seems like more and more important, the autumn the autumn period. So no, the 18 is delicious, and predominantly Merlot, but he has a good portion of Cabernet Sauvignon, usually 30-35% in there, and then some Cab Franc as well. So very, very nice wine. It's been quite successful for us. So, and very consistent.
Ce qu'on essaye de faire, c'est d'avoir le fruité du Merlot et la consistance, la tannicité du Cabernet Sauvignon qui va amener de la structure et de la complexité.
Ouais. He said, Merlot gives you the fruit and the Cabernet's structure and complexity. They're about 15-year-old vines for the whites. Right.
Sur les rouges, on est sur une moyenne à peu près de 25 ans.
And essentially 25-year average for the reds. La plantation en blanc, c'est de nouveau?
C'est plutôt récent. Et puis le Sauvignon blanc à Bordeaux n'a pas une grande espérance de vie. C'est un cépage qui meurt facilement. Ouais. Donc il faut le renouveler souvent.
Donc autrefois au château, c'était pas de production en blanc.
Non.
No, because the white was new. Yes, that was a new thing that in the old days with his family, they just produced red.
Okay.
They just grew red, yeah. Yeah. Et qui l'avait, c'était votre idée pour planter les blancs?
Oui, j'aime bien le blanc et
Okay.
la
That was his idea.
vinification. Voilà, la vinification en blanc, c'est très intéressant.
Ouais, pour les fruits de mer.
Oui.
he likes the fruit de mer, so you better plant some white wine varieties.
That's a perfect reason. That's reason enough.
Exactly. So,
Mike, did Stephane mention earlier, is there a little Semillon in the wine, or does he do 100%
yes.
Sauvignon Blanc?
Yeah, no, it is, I think our sheets say 20%, and he was saying, and he actually doesn't do the technical sheets, Paula does them, but he was saying a little bit less than that. So, it varies with the year, but
C'est 90% de Sauvignon et à peine 10% de Sémillon.
Okay, he said more like 90-10. So Sauvignon, Semillon.
And the Semillon, is it aromatics? What does it give to the wine?
Le Sémillon est très gras, très rond,
Yeah.
amène de la longueur, mais il n'a pas de fruits, il n'a pas de bouquet, il n'a pas d'odeur.
Okay, so for him, not too fruity, not too much bouquet, but it gives roundness. It gives terrific body and length on the palate.
Perfect.
Yeah, and of course, the Sauvignon pour les arômes, l'acidité.
Et la fraîcheur, voilà, l'acidité et la fraîcheur pour le Sauvignon.
Et Sauvignon gris, vous en avez ou non?
Non, bientôt.
Ah oui. So there's this old Cépage there, Sauvignon gris.
Okay.
And we're starting to see
heard
more
of
and
it.
more of it. And I asked if he had any. He said no, but soon. It's
That's
coming,
great.
coming soon. Quelle est la différence, sauf le couleur, Sauvignon blanc, Sauvignon gris?
Le Sauvignon gris a un aromatique peut-être un petit peu plus muscaté, un petit peu plus évolué que le Sauvignon blanc.
Ouais, he said because of, I guess, deeper aromas. They use this term muscaté, so to be muscat-like. I think that's more in the pronounced aromas, not exactly that it smells like muscat, licoricey and anise, but yeah, it's il y a un cépage en Bourgogne qui s'appelle Chardonnay muscaté. J'ai discovered this in Montagny, and it was weird, but I'd be saying it's more the characteristics. Sauvignon gris is interesting. The wines I've had that have it. So ça c'est bon, Stéphane. C'est intéressant pour avoir le Sauvignon gris. Je trouve c'est une bonne addition. Oui.
Je pense.
Vous connaissez l'histoire, les origines de Sauvignon gris?
Non, je ne connais pas, Michael.
Non. Peut-être un croisage avec Cabernet ou quoi. Il faut trouver.
Je vais chercher.
Oui, bien sûr. Vinification, c'est levure naturelle ou levure?
Non, on est beaucoup en levure sélectionnée.
Oui, ok.
Levure sèche sélectionnée, naturelle, mais naturelle. C'est des levures que l'on amène en fonction des vins que l'on fait. Pour les blancs, les rosés ou les rouges, ce sont des levures différentes. Le principe, c'est qu'on travaille maintenant sur des fermentations sans sulfite. Pour baisser la dose de sulfite dans les vins, on fait des fermentations sans apport de sulfite sur la vendange. Et pour ça, il faut que la fermentation elle démarre rapidement.
OK. Et vous faites ça?
Oui, depuis quelques années, on fait ça.
Saying, the trend now is to do fermentation without sulfur, and which he does. And he said that's okay, but you have to have a quick fermentation for that. He feels otherwise, you risk oxidation. So in order to ensure or make sure that they get that fast fermentation, he used they call it a selected yeast. So it's a culture, and he uses a different one for the white, the rosé, and the red. But mais le niveau de soufre c'est moins maintenant. So he's using less sulfur.
Exactement, ça nous permet d'avoir des niveaux de soufre beaucoup plus bas lors de la mise en bouteille, et ça permet d'avoir des fermentations, de meilleures fermentations pour la suite après.
Est-ce qu'il faut avoir le vin rester en contact avec les lits un peu plus long?
Oui,
Parce que,
on
ouais,
laisse.
yeah, yeah.
Exactement.
So to compensate, there's a little longer lees contact because the leaves are antioxidant. You know, and they help preserve it. It's a natural preservative.
Lorsqu'on a du soufre avec les lits, on a des arômes de réduction, des mauvaises odeurs qui se développent. Quand il n'y a pas de soufre, on peut conserver les vins beaucoup plus longtemps sur la lie, ce qui va donner
Ouais.
plus de richesse et de rondeur.
Ouais, ouais. He said you could keep it longer, and in the end, you're going to get a richer, fuller wine. Quel est le niveau de soufre ajouté? C'est moins de 30 grammes ou
Le soufre total, le soufre
ouais,
si
ouais.
en soufre total, la législation nous autorise jusqu'à 180 et nous, à peu près, quand on le met en bouteille, on doit être à 60.
Okay. Donc, just curious. So he's working way less than what's authorized, but still pretty traditional from that standpoint. So, vous, vous connaissez natural wine?
Oui, ici.
C'est dans certain secteurs, c'est à la mode. Cisco, you do anything with natural wine? Is that landed in Memphis or?
Yeah, for sure. It's super popular here, and
Okay.
we're happy to have a bunch of natural wine. It can be fun to see a vintage variation that is where you're getting a new wine every year, but with consistency, like Stephane and Paola have, you know that you're going to get a great quality wine every
Right.
year, and that's something, you know, when you're not beheld to say that you're organic or natural or biodynamic. You can make the certain little tweaks, and like you're saying, there's really low intervention in the winery, from what it
Right.
sounds like.
Yeah, no, it's a real trend, boy. From Stephane, from when I started in the business, you know, a long time ago. But quand j'ai commencé à travailler en vin, pendant les années 60, in the 70s, Bordeaux Blanc, c'était plein de soufre. Il avait beaucoup de soufre, white Bordeaux especially. Bordeaux Blanc, les vins blancs d'Espagne, Spanish whites, Italian whites. I mean, c'est incroyable comment on a diminué la portion or the quantité de soufre dans les vins. It's a huge, almost a revolution. It's a big change. Yeah, much les vins sont plus sains, plus nets. Yeah, much better, much healthier. But no, natural wines, je trouve, I find there's a lot of confusion about it, especially for the consumer. Mais c'est beaucoup de confusion, some misinformation, especially entre bio or organic and natural. C'est pas vraiment une différence. Mais the grande différence, c'est the wine's got to taste good. For starters, that's the number one rule, right?
Yeah.
So, right,
C'est ça.
il avait un bon goût, c'est le premier objectif.
La meilleure certification, c'est la qualité.
Oui, he said the best certification is the quality.
That's
for
great.
sure.
It's really cool to see a family that's running a winery, and kind of, you know, dig down deeper and hear the stories about how you're doing it.
I think I really find it remarkable, the traditions of, you know the mot vigneron. We don't have a word like that in English. There isn't a word for, yeah, I guess we would say wine grower, but you know, you don't really grow wine. But vigneron, c'est une profession, c'est une tradition, c'est un métier. Et je pense que c'est très intéressant que ça exists for you know, generations. You know, like this. It's always impressive and great to see. C'est très bon. C'est un plaisir à voir le respect pour le terroir, pour la production, pour le produit. C'est un des plaisirs de cette métier. It's one of the pleasures of being in the business. And above all, surtout, c'est à faire la connaissance de personnes comme vous, c'est malheureusement, les visites sont toujours très brèves, très courtes, mais peut-être après l'expérience de Covid, on va un peu lentement dans le futur. So unfortunately, our visits are always very fast, bang, 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 in and out, because there's a lot to get done. But maybe after the lessons of the COVID year, we'll take a little more time and visit personally and something like that.
Je pense qu'on a discuté des choses importantes. Voilà. Tu voulais dire? Voilà. Non, nous avons discuté des choses importantes. Dommage que la barrière de la langue empêche une bonne discussion.
C'est pas grave. Je pense que c'est intéressant. C'est interesting. Cisco, Stephane and Paola, c'est a family company, family work, and travail familial, where the main objective is quality, because they're not in the volume business. This is vous ne faites pas le volume. Donc pour vous, c'est la qualité, c'est la première chose, et c'est the only way that they can, I don't want to say survive, but it's the only way that they can do well in today's market is by having a quality product. Since he can't fall back on the volume, so he has to do some work with strive for higher quality, and I think he does a good job of it.
And we really appreciate that, Stephane, because we're a family-owned store that my parents bought the store 20 years ago, and now my sister and I run the store today. So yeah, it's tough. We only have one store, so it's also not a huge volume thing either. And quality is the number one thing, whether it's experience or wine quality. That's what's important to us.
Of course, Stephane and Paola, thank you for your time today. I know it's a little bit later in the evening, so we appreciate you making time for us.
Well, Stephane's ready he's ready for some fruits de mer. Stephane est prêt pour les fruits de mer. C'est presque temps.
OK.
Oui. Pour nous, c'est le petit déjeuner. ou peut-être déjeuner. So, Stephane, Paul, merci beaucoup pour votre temps, et merci pour le vin, pour le bon vin aussi. Et j'espère que le vendage, que le météo est mieux. C'est un très bon fin de l'été, très bon vendage. Donc,
on l'espère.
Oui, et j'espère vous revoir peut-être l'année prochaine, je pense. Je ne sais pas. I don't know when we're going to start traveling to France again, but ça tout dépend sur le virus. Donc, il faut voir. Mais,
là, aux États-Unis, là, vous pouvez bouger normalement comme avant. Aux États-Unis, vous pouvez bouger comme avant par rapport au
oui, in the States, we're moving around. Yes, we say la vie, c'est, I don't know, would you say life is kind of pretty much as usual, but
getting better for sure.
Yeah. As in my opinion, you got to start being careful again. We got to go back to mais nous connaissons beaucoup mieux. We know much more about it now. So I remember we going, walking down the sidewalk, you cross the street. I don't think we're at that level anymore. So, okay.
Les affaires se passent mieux avec le nouveau président? Avec le nouveau président?
Oui, il a fait, à mon avis, il a fait un très bon travail. C'est très différent. Et pour nous, le plus grand chose, c'est les taxes. Les taxes supplémentaires sont terminées. I said it was the best thing about Biden being president. No more tariff. Nous disons tarif, mais c'est différent pour the French, they call it the taxes. Mais ça, c'était, for me, that was more difficult than the effect of the virus, of the COVID. Ça, c'était plus difficile. 25%, c'était obligatoire payer sur arrivée, tout de suite. Nous sommes une petite société, comme vous, familial. So we're a small company, and we paid October 19 to February 21 over $300,000 in tariff. Nous avons payé plus de $300,000 dans les taxes supplémentaires. C'est disparu. You got nothing for it. On a reçu rien de tout. C'était payé was paid to the farmers. Yeah, donc I'm very happy that that's done, that's finished. That was really, c'était très difficile. Donc autrement, I'd say I don't know, we're more, yeah, that's the best thing that Biden's done for me, at least. So très content avec ça.
Nous aussi pareil.
Okay. So Francisco, thanks a lot.
Stephane and Paola, merci beaucoup pour votre temps. Et au revoir.
Thank you, Cisco. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Au
you,
revoir.
Mecca.
Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.
Goodbye.
Merci. Ciao.